You walk into a room, and something shifts. Not because you demanded it. Not because you're the loudest voice, or the most desperate for attention. But because you understand something most people spend their entire lives missing. Respect isn't given to those who beg for it. It's drawn to those who've mastered the silent language of power. See, there are 5 psychological triggers hardwired into every human being, and when you activate them, people can't help but respect you. It's not manipulation, it's understanding how the mind works. The first secret: people respect those who respect themselves first. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But watch how most people move through life, apologizing for taking up space, seeking validation like oxygen, bending themselves into shapes just to be liked. That's not respect, that's survival. The truth is, respect is a transaction. You either command it through presence, or you lose it through desperation. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to tip that scale in your favor permanently. Let me tell you something about the first secret. And I want you to listen carefully, because this is where most people get it wrong. They think respect comes from what you say, from how loud you speak, from the titles you carry, or the money in your pocket. But respect, real respect, it starts in a place most people are too afraid to look inside themselves. Self-respect isn't some feel-good concept you read about in a book and forget by morning. It's the foundation of everything. When you respect yourself, you set a standard. You draw a line in the sand and you say, this is where I stand, and I don't move for anyone who doesn't deserve it. And here's what happens. People feel that. They sense it the moment you enter a space. It's in your posture, in the way you hold eye contact, in the silence you're comfortable keeping, when everyone else is scrambling to fill the void with noise. Think about the people you respect most in your life. Not the ones who talk the most. Not the ones constantly seeking your approval. You respect the ones who have standards, who won't compromise their values just to make you comfortable. That's self-respect in action. It's not arrogance. Arrogance is insecurity, wearing a mask. Self-respect is quiet, it's certain, and it doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. When you carry that, when you genuinely believe you deserve to be treated well, others believe it too. It's psychology, pure and simple. People mirror what you project. If you treat yourself like you're disposable, like your time doesn't matter, like your boundaries are suggestions rather than rules, then that's exactly how people will treat you. But when you show up with self-respect, when you value your own time, your own energy, your own peace of mind, people adjust. They have to. Because you've just told them, without saying a word, that you're not someone to be taken lightly. Now let me take you to the second secret, and this one is powerful because it goes against everything you've been taught about being liked. You've been told to agree, to go along, to avoid conflict, to make everyone comfortable. That's a recipe for being ignored, not respected. The second secret is this: people respect those who aren't afraid to disagree, not the ones who argue for the sake of arguing, not the contrarians who need to be different just to feel special. I'm talking about the people who have the spine to stand for something, even when it's unpopular. When everyone in the room is nodding along saying yes because it's easier, because it keeps the peace, and you're the one who says, I see it differently, and here's why. That's when respect walks into the room and sits down next to you. There's a psychological principle called the pratfall effect. It says that people respect those who show they're human, who aren't perfect, who aren't desperately trying to be agreeable all the time. When you disagree with respect, when you challenge an idea without attacking the person, you show strength. You show you have a mind of your own, and people respect that, because deep down, they wish they had the courage to do the same. Most people are terrified of being disliked, so they become shapeless, formless, agreeable to the point of invisibility. You can't respect someone you can't see. When you voice your opinion, when you stand firm on something that matters to you, you become visible, you become real, and that reality, that authenticity, commands respect in a way that people-pleasing never will. But here's the balance. You disagree with intelligence, not hostility. You challenge ideas, not egos. You make it clear that you respect the person, even when you don't agree with their position. That's the difference between being respected and being resented. When you can hold your ground without making others feel small, when you can say no without apology but with clarity, you've mastered something most people never will. You've learned that respect isn't about making everyone happy. It's about being someone worth listening to, even when what you're saying isn't what people want to hear. The third secret is about silence. And I know that sounds strange in a world that tells you to speak up, to make noise, to always have something to say. But silence, strategic silence, is one of the most powerful tools you have. People respect those who know when to be quiet, not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that words lose their value when you use too many of them. When you speak less, when you choose your words carefully, When you let silence do the heavy lifting in a conversation, something interesting happens. People lean in, they listen harder, they give weight to what you do say, because you haven't cheapened it with endless chatter. There's a concept in psychology called the scarcity principle. Things become more valuable when they're rare. Your words are no different. When you're the person who talks constantly, who fills every gap, who needs to comment on everything, your words become background noise. But when you're selective, when you let moments breathe, when you're comfortable in silence while others squirm, you create presence. You create gravity. People start to wonder what you're thinking. They start to value your input because it's not always available. And that mystery, that restraint, it breeds respect. Silence also gives you power in negotiation, in conflict, in any interaction where stakes are involved. When someone makes a statement and expects you to react immediately, and instead you pause, you let the silence hang there for a moment, you've just shifted the power dynamic. You're not reactive, you're thoughtful, you're in control of yourself, and that control extends to the situation. People respect those who aren't easily rattled, who don't need to fill every second with sound just to feel relevant. Master silence, and you master presence. And presence, true presence, is magnetic. It draws respect without you having to chase it. Now the fourth secret, and this one is crucial. People respect those who follow through, not those who make big promises, not those who talk about what they're going to do someday, but those who say something and then do it. Reliability is rare, and rare things are valuable. You'd be surprised how many people will respect you simply because you show up when you say you will, because you keep your word, because when you commit to something, it gets done. That consistency, that integrity between what you say and what you do, it builds a reputation that no amount of clever words can create. There's a psychological phenomenon called the consistency principle. People are drawn to those who are predictable in their reliability because it creates trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. When you're someone whose word means something, when people know that a commitment from you is solid, you become invaluable. You become someone people want in their corner because they know you won't let them down. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be grand gestures. It's the small things. It's showing up on time. It's doing what you said you'd do, even when it's inconvenient. It's being someone people can count on, not just when it benefits you, but consistently. Most people overcommit and underdeliver. They make promises they can't keep because they want to be liked in the moment. But when they fail to follow through, respect evaporates. Be the opposite. Commit to less, but deliver on everything. When you say yes, mean it. When you say no, don't apologize for having boundaries. And when you make a promise, move heaven and earth to keep it. That reputation, that track record, it speaks louder than any words you could say about yourself. People respect those who are reliable, because reliability is a form of respect in itself. You're respecting their time, their expectations, their trust in you. And that respect you give comes back multiplied. The fifth and final secret is about emotional control. And this might be the most important one of all. People respect those who can't be easily shaken, not those who suppress their emotions or pretend they don't feel anything, but those who feel deeply and still maintain composure. In a world where everyone is reactive, where people explode at the smallest inconvenience, where emotional volatility is almost normalized, the person who stays calm under pressure stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. That control, that ability to process emotion without being controlled by it, that's power, and people respect power when it's restrained. Psychology tells us that emotional regulation is a sign of maturity and intelligence. When you can receive bad news without falling apart, when someone disrespects you and you respond with calm firmness instead of rage, when you face pressure and remain steady, you demonstrate strength, not the loud, aggressive kind of strength that needs to prove itself, the quiet, unshakable kind that doesn't need to. People test you to see if you'll break. They push boundaries to see if you'll lose control. And when you don't, when you stay centered, when you handle their worst with grace, you earn respect that can't be taken away. This doesn't mean you become emotionless or cold. It means you choose your responses instead of reacting impulsively. It means you feel the anger, the frustration, the hurt, but you don't let those feelings drive your actions. You process them, you understand them, and then you respond from a place of clarity, not chaos. That self-mastery is rare. Most people are puppets to their emotions, jerked around by every slight, every setback, every piece of criticism. When you're not, when you've developed the ability to stay composed, when everything around you is falling apart, people look to you. They respect you. Because in that moment, you've become the adult in the room, the steady hand, the person who can be trusted when things get hard. Think about the people you respect most. When crisis hits, it's not the ones panicking, not the ones blaming everyone else, not the ones making the situation about their feelings. It's the ones who stay calm, who think clearly, who lead when others are lost. That's emotional control in action, and you don't have to wait for a crisis to practice it. Every day gives you opportunities. The person who cuts you off in traffic, the co-worker who takes credit for your work, the friend who cancels plans last minute. These are all tests, and every time you respond with composure instead of volatility, you're building a reputation. You're showing the world, and more importantly yourself, that you're in control of your life, not at the mercy of your circumstances. Let me bring this all together for you, because these 5 secrets, they're not separate. They work together. They build on each other. Self-respect creates the foundation. The courage to disagree shows you have substance. Strategic silence gives you presence. Following through builds trust. And emotional control demonstrates strength. When you combine all 5, you become someone people can't help but respect. Not because you demanded it, not because you manipulated them into it, but because you've become the kind of person respect naturally gravitates toward. You've aligned yourself with psychological principles that have been true since humans started interacting with each other. And those principles don't change based on trends or culture. They're hardwired into us. When you activate them, when you embody them consistently, respect stops being something you chase and starts being something you simply receive as a natural consequence of who you are.